Hark and well met, folks, and welcome back to another stream. My name is RuneMeisterKris. It is a pleasure to have you all here as always. Tonight we are continuing our time on the Arc RP server, Glyph RP, and we are going to be hopefully, actually, unironically, figuring out how to make a Viking style longship using the Arc mechanics and the minimal mods that we have. We are behind on making this boat, baby. So we got to get this thing cooking. All right, folks, listen, we know the deal. It's that part of the video where I come on here and I tell you to subscribe to my channel. And I know it's the annoying part of the video that nobody wants to watch, but here it is. The analytics don't lie, and everybody says that you gotta subscribe and you gotta push those subscriptions. So I'm doing my part. Let's have you guys do yours. Subscribe to the channel, please. So, gang, let's get down to it here. We were fiddling around with a couple of our options here in terms of what type of ship we wanted to make, how we wanted to size it, which of the two better raft and boat mods we wanted to use, whether or not we wanted to use this one, which came listed as a battleship. It was like a pre-made battleship, and then this one that was listed as an advanced raft. I don't know what the size limit is on our large advanced raft. I do know that this battleship is 15 by 15. I love that these pre-made little long ships here are perfect. There are a few different sizes of Viking Age long ship. I guess I should do a spiel. The Vikings had numerous different types of long ship, right? It wasn't just the long ship and then whatever else. And I showed this off on TikTok, but I've got a little chart back there that kind of describes it. So they had merchant ships and then they had warships. And the merchant ships were really just one type. It was called a Gnar. And the Gnar was this big boat that had a huge hull and was capable of hauling a lot of equipment and goods and people and animals. And it was a merchant and a trade shift, but it was also the big driving force behind what the Scandinavians used for expansion. On top of the Gnar, the merchant ship, we then had the warships, and these were kind of divvied up. One of them is kind of both. It's a fairing. A fairing is kind of similar to what we're looking at right here. It's a small longship shaped, basically rowboat, and it might have had a sail in some cases, but it was pretty much just like maybe 6 dudes sitting on a boat, and it was like a rowboat. It was like what they would use to get, just around, do quick little fishing trips. They were yada yada, little tiny guys. So in terms of the main long ships, like the traditional ones that you're thinking of, there were 4 types. You had the Carve. The Carve is kind of like sized up a little bit. That one had maybe about 13 rows worth of rowers. And Carves were very shallow draft, so they were perfect for shoreline raids and rivers, like doing stuff on the rivers, travel and scouting and occasionally raiding. In terms of like true combat, like ocean warfare, they started off with the Snekja were the next largest ones. They had about 20 rows. That is the style that we are going to be going for when we are building our big boat today. We're going to be going for a Snekja style Viking Age ship. The final 2 are the Skeet and the Drakkar, which are functionally the same ship. The only difference is that Drakkar have serpentine and draconic images on it. So when you think of like the Viking longship with the big dragon design on the front, that's a Drakkar, and that's usually one of the big boats that did a lot of damage. Do I have the pillar? I definitely don't have the wooden pillar. The wooden pillar we need for resizing and re-leveling out where these platforms go. It helps you shrink them down so that they sit a little bit lower in the ground, and they look nicer. Looks like right about there is where we want it. So bada bing, bada boom. Next up, we are taking a foundation. We're going right there and right there. Next, pick up the pillar, pick up the foundation. So then we take the pillar, put it in the center of this one right here, which drops it down ever so slightly, so that when we come over here, that did not work. So then when we put it down here, hang on a second, worked in practice. There we go. Ever so slightly lower. I think that's about where I want it. So in terms of foundations, I believe that's going to be all the ones that we can place. So out from the main 3, it is 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. 3. So we are going to pull one of those off because we're going to need to make our point, and our point is going to have to come up at the end. So we're going to want to save space for us to do that. So 1, 2, out from the core 3, which means that when we come back here, we should be able to do ceilings and do 1, 2, 3, 2, and then leave space on the 3rd. Archaeology fun fact, and Jade wants it to be about boats. You got it. It is boat week. Archaeology fun fact, get ready to learn. Nerds, today's fun fact comes to you via Jade, partly sponsored by Cinder. So, you want to know about boats. Well, I am happy to oblige. As I started describing earlier in the night, the Viking Age Longship is an icon of the Viking Age, right? This is synonymous with the Vikings in a lot of ways. One of the most important elements of the Viking Age Longship that made longships what they were was something called a clinker design to their hulls. So when the ships were built, you can kind of see it in the model a little bit, but what they did was uniquely they would overlap and layer their wood planks so that when the boat, instead of having 2 pieces of wood that were put together with like a back support rivet or something in between them, you know, they had them overlap a little bit. And so what this did was it supported the wood against itself. And it allowed for a ship that had much shallower of a draw, meaning that instead of being a very deep vessel that came down like this, it had a much more shallow draw, which meant that you could go into shallower waters, and it floated higher in the water. But the overlap gave strength so that the ship would be able to withstand the deep ocean waves and currents. And that is the unique reason why the Viking Age longships were so terrifyingly advanced for the area, and why they were able to do such crazy things such as sail from Norway across the North Ocean and then up rivers going straight to Paris, all without really having to need to leave their ships. So that's your archaeology fun fact. Thanks so much for listening. Here's the things that I want to do. Number 1, I'm probably going to like triangle things in there to try and curve this up to a point. Then the other thing is I wanted to try and get ramps to see if I can make the sides go down and then come up. The good news is I'm not terribly concerned about having the sides be very high. If I can't get the ramps to come up, if I can get like half walls from settlers in here, it'll be fine. Boy, go to the railings and change them to walls. Wait a minute, really? You can do that? Hang on a second, let me see. If I come to this thing right here, it's an N+ railing. Oh, Koi, you goat. Perfect. That is it. That's the winner, baby. Yes, keep it vanilla. I love it. I love it. Let's stay out of that settler. I learn again. Every day is a new learning. My very simple solution for what I think we want to try and do is triangle pieces. Okay, this N+ wood railing is going to be perfecto here, actually. Yeah, I mean, that's goated. It's goated right there. First thing we're going to try to do. That is what I want. Yeah, they don't need, it doesn't need to be that dramatic of a point. So that should work out. That should work out perfectly for what I want. It's less space, but the angle looks pretty good. Let's get on the boat and actually see. I like that better. And it uses less resources. The only question is, can I get the railing across? Yep. I can. Let's see how that looks. So if we pick the sloped roof ceiling... Oh, right, it won't let me. Regular wood ceiling. With the sloped wall. left, sloped wall right, and the N plus sloped ceiling with the triangle roof peak at the end. I've seen worse. So put that there. 1, 2, 3. I mean, team. I've seen worse. That does work though. For getting us down to the driver's seat. It's not super long, right? It's definitely like a chunky boy. I very much would have liked if we could have gotten away with 2 foundations wide. However, A, it wouldn't have worked with the symmetry. B, it wouldn't have been able to cover the entirety of the base raft platform. So I think that given the circumstances, but this is the widest that it'll go, I think that maybe I could have picked the biggest raft platform instead of the I think I did like the second biggest, the battleship, the 15 by 15, because I didn't want to go too big with it. And I think that ultimately for, you know, our clan is 4 people. At 4 people max, you have one piloting, 1 on each side and 1 floater. I think this is the perfect size. It's going to be small enough that it's not a massive target. It's going to be big enough that we can hold all of the extra supplies that we need, plus a ballista or 2, and be aesthetically pleasing, have like a sail and stuff on there. I think that this is going to work out really nice. N plus sloped wall left. Hold on, it's very particular. Yes! The best part is, if we need to get in, we can just swim underneath the ship and then come here to drive it. There, that's our sneaky escape. Our sneaky escape is swimming under the ship to pilot it out of there. God dang, guys. I'll keep it a stack. This looks fire. For what we're going for, and with what mechanics we have to work with, that looks pretty good. I am so surprised. I am so surprised by this. And once we put this on, we will have the hull of our ship completed. That's it, team. The hull and deck of our Viking Age Snekja style ship. Capstone being the large offset sail. This is a potentially functional Viking Age longship. What the heck? That's it. That's a Viking longship. It's a little wide in the middle, but overall, god dang, that's pretty close. There. Well, gang, we've got the cosmetic, the exterior version done. So now we are going to go in, we're going to work on the decorative elements of this ship. It's really not wanting to do it. Well, that worked, but that's the dumbest. That's not at all what we want there. And that one will work. Make it make sense. Wait. It's facing outward at least. So for this one, I'm going to put the railing down, and then I'm going to connect the double door to the railing to see whether or not if I pull the railing away, the double door will hold in place. So if we do that, do the double door frame, at the height that we want. And then... Now let me see if this works or if it's going to break it. Railing. Pick up the railing. It did. It worked. It worked. Oh, let's go! I am the GOAT. I am so good. Okay. So we have our ship. We have dynamic double doors that will open and shut when we come to them. Guys, this turned out so much better than I thought it would. I am so proud of this. It looks great. It's a Viking Age ship. Now, granted, there were some mods involved, but it was minimal. I mean, the cosmetics are mostly mods, but the actual ship hull, the whole thing itself, that is that's mostly like vanilla N+. So it should be attainable in standard vanilla too. It's just N+ make things a little bit easier to finagle, except maybe that front end. It's a good looking ship. Yeah, I want to try and show this off. So let's get sailing. Let's take it out for a spin. See how we do.
5 minutes later.
Don't do this. Don't. No. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse to believe this. Not again. No. There's no way. There is no way that I spent 4 hours tonight building this boat to get beached. Are there like tides? Like, is there water that's gonna come back? Is there water that's gonna come back? No. This is bad, guys.